Hi. Well, let's talk about Obama's election plans for 2016. Now, I know you guys think you're getting rid of him, but I really don't think it's going to be that easy. For a long time now, ever since the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2014, Obama has been making jokes or statements disguised as jokes. And this is something that liars very often do. And he's been joking that he's going to be the president for life, that he's going to be an imperial president, president of the American Empire. Now, there are those who think that we shouldn't take this seriously, but I believe that we ought to. And the reason I believe that we ought to is simply history and Obama's history. Now, do you really think that he's going to put down everything that he's been working for in 2016 and calmly hand it over to someone else? No. Now, the only way that he can stay as president under the American legal system is by getting martial law declared. Now, he gave himself certain powers when he first came to office, the first presidency, and those powers were to declare martial law in the event, this is unilateral, he doesn't have to consult Congress at all, and in the event that a weapon of mass destruction is used on American soil, or there is significant civil unrest involving more than 3 states. Well, he's been trying all these things, and his first try was Boston bombing. Now, if you cast your mind back to the Boston bombing, what was the spin? What did the Boston bomber actually get accused of? He got accused of detonating a weapon of mass destruction, to wit, a pressure cooker filled with ball bearings and explosives, on American soil. Now, fortunately for everyone, the courts didn't actually buy that description of a weapon of mass destruction, and the charge got changed. But the first thing he was charged with was a weapons of mass destruction charge. Now, if he had been convicted on that charge as it stood, Obama could simply have declared martial law any time that he liked. So that was try number 1. Then we have try number 2. Now, a lot of people believe that when these nuclear weapons went missing, the plan was to detonate at least one in Charleston Harbour. And if you think about it, yes, a lot of people would have been killed, but it's not as bad as detonating one in the middle of New York. And it's a fair old way away from anywhere that Obama would have been interested in going. It's nowhere near his favourite golf course. So then all of a sudden, after that failed, you had all of these sackings in the US Defense Department. All of these top generals who got sacked were obviously the people who wouldn't go along with it. So what's he going to do now? Massive civil unrest. That's his next plan. And this is the purpose of Jade Helm. What he wants to do is he wants to put the American people in those 5 or 6 states in a pressure cooker. And eventually he's sure, because of the nature of the people in Texas, the people in Utah, he is very sure that sooner or later something's going to blow. Someone, somewhere, is going to start doing something really silly, and lots of other people are going to copy them. And so there is going to be the massive civil unrest in more than 3 states that is called for, that allows him once again to initiate martial law. And as soon as he initiates any sort of martial law, then he is president for as long as he likes, because he controls the entire country via the armed forces, until he himself, not anyone else, declares that the martial law period is over. Now, obviously he realises that this may not actually occur. So he has a backup plan. What is the backup plan? Hillary Clinton for president. Why is this a backup plan? Well, do you imagine that really Obama doesn't know all the facts about Benghazi? All the facts about the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton cash scandal? And that he hasn't got hidden away somewhere proof? Of course he does. Of course he has. And his entire rationale, I think, behind his support for the Clinton campaign is quite simple. And that is, if Clinton gets in, she is very easily removable. He can create a huge fuss, he can get her removed, and he will time this so that it coincides with one of the aforementioned events. And this, I believe, is his backup plan. Now, there are those who may think this is quite a nutty conspiracy theory, but there's quite a lot of people now, even in the alternative media, and even there's been a tiny little mention or two in the mainstream media, that people are starting to think that, well, is he going to step down? And a lot of the people who think he's not going to step down are people who've read his favourite book. And I'll put a link to my video about that at the bottom of the screen down there. Now you can click on that and follow that link, and it's quite fascinating because you look at the sort of things that this book actually advocates, and one of the things it says is to lie all the time. Basically, it says lie, lie, lie. It doesn't matter what you say to the people, as long as you get your own way and as long as things happen. And it also repeats Hitler's maxim that if you make the lie big enough and you repeat it enough, that everyone will come to believe it. And look at the way he's been doing that. Look at the whole Obamacare scandal, that he kept saying, oh, it's going to be good for you, it's going to be good, it's going to be great, it's going to be this, that and the other. And look what happened. About the only thing that happened is that when the premiums finally got paid, they increased the GDP and dug the economy, well, didn't really dig the economy out of a hole, but it seemed to. It made the figures look a lot better. And one wonders whether that wasn't a plan all along, just to keep this tin can being kicked down the road for a little longer, keep the dollar afloat a little longer, until people were ready for it to collapse. And of course, don't forget, collapsing the dollar is another thing that could cause massive civil unrest. So what really is going to happen during Jade Helm? What is the provocation going to be? Some people think that the provocation is going to come from grabbing everyone's weapons. Some people think the provocation is going to be US economic collapse. Some people think the provocation is going to be foreign troops. Who knows? But one thing is for sure, I think that come August and September this year, I'm going to be very glad that I don't live in the United States of America. Thank you very much. Bye.